Hey, I'm Alicia, and today we're going to go over creating a crowd sale. Now, if you haven't already, you need to make sure that you've already created your game on the site and that you already purchased a copy to review. Those are required for getting started with making a crowd sale. There are some other requirements you're going to need to make sure that you have done before we continue. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. From your game, click Crowd Sale. From here, you'll see a list of things that you need to complete before you can create your crowd sale. Once all of these check marks are green, you're good to go. Let's go over what each of these means. First is proofing your artwork. You would have done this already if you purchased a copy of your game, but if you'd made any changes, you want to make sure you proof those. You'll know if you need to proof something because there'll be an orange exclamation point icon. The next several things are items that are required for publishing your game for sale in general. This is things like adding a description, your shop backdrop, your logo, advertisements, action shots, all the fun stuff. Let's go over that now. Under the Sell tab, you'll have quite a few links here. Let's go over vitals. This is where you're going to add the number of players, your playtime, and age. Pricing is where you add your pricing. Pricing is where you're going to say your MSRP or your sales price for your game. The marketing page is required. It includes a short description, some cool factors, which are cool things about your game, a website if you have one, and the ad for your game. Keep in mind that you're going to be making a special advertisement just for your crowd sale, but we'll get into that in a little bit. You'll need to make sure to fill in your safe search options. Keep in mind that your game can't have any of this if you want to do a crowd sale. If you have a professional review, you can put that here. For your shop page, you're going to make a shop backdrop. Your game logo, which should look something like this with a transparent background, as well as the description. In this case, I used an image for my description. If you have a how to play video, this is a good place to put that. Make sure to save and preview when you're done. Under shop preferences, if your game requires a box, you need to make sure you click yes here. If your game does not require a box, change this to no. That is required for a crowd sale. To make your game easier to see, you can fill in the taxonomy here. For example, selecting your type of game, where it should go, and adding a bunch of tags. Lastly is action shots. These are images of your game in action, the components, maybe renders or art, things along those lines. Another requirement is that the price for your game needs to be at least $3 more than the 100 copy cost. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Go ahead and click Make, and then we're going to click Cost Each or Production Cost. If we scroll down here, we'll see the 100 unit pricing is $11.21. This means that the MSRP of the game needs to be at least $14.21. That's not a problem. We have ours set to $25.99. Now, you should have already done this, but that's buying a copy of your game. This is imperative, so you could have reviewed your game for any issues and made updates to fix those. Next is making sure that you have a designer set up and it has an email for you. To update that, click Make at the top of the site, and then Designers. Look for your designer and click the name or click Edit. Go to Contact and make sure you have an email in the contact email area. Another step you need to complete is the community verification test. You can see that by clicking on Test here. And then Community Verified Tests. Community Verified Tests have a cost of 6,000 CP or crafter points. You gain crafter points by purchasing your game on the site. You can also gain it by purchasing other people's games and by completing community verified tests and art tests. A community verified test allows the community to look at your game and verify that the art meets requirements, that there's nothing in there that's inappropriate, and that it's generally an appealing game. Let's take a look at what one looks like. You see at the top that I have my final score, whether something was serviceable, was not for kids, or complied with kid laws, and met terms of service. Here it shows your backdrop for your shop and your shop logo together. People can leave comments if they think something needs to be updated. It'll look at your shop ad, and it'll also look at your shop page. And then you can also flip through action shots. You need to score at least 108 out of 120 for your game to pass the community verification test. Lastly, there are a few odds and ends you need to make sure you've done. For example, your sales price cannot be lower than your manufacturing cost, which as long as you followed this step should not be a problem. We cannot do a crowd sale for digital games. You also can't crowd sale anything with random components. Games that have more than one game box without using the embedded games feature are also not allowed. Any game that has a permanent lock on it cannot be crowd saled. And that's it. Once you've met all these requirements, click Create Crowd Sale. Now on the first page you're going to see, it's going to have the name of your game, a place for you to put a video, as well as an ad. Keep in mind the crowd sale ads are much larger than the ads you use when you make a normal game. Let's go ahead and upload an ad. When making an ad, I recommend you include at least a couple important things. I include creating your starting discount, your time frame that you plan for your sale, as well as some basic information like how many players it plays and how long it plays. Keep in mind a video for your crowd sale is required. Your video should be short and sweet. A quick showing of the game, a sales pitch, maybe a bit of a showcase. Videos that are overly long or not relevant could be denied. Let's move down to description. You may notice that the description from your sales page has already been imported over. Make sure to add anything to this that you want to have on your crowd sale page that's different from your normal shop page. I also recommend here adding another video of something like a how to play video, or something a little bit more in depth than the preview video for the crowd sale. You can simply copy and paste your YouTube URL right into the description. For these examples, I'm going to be using 2 placeholder videos. Make sure to hit save and preview when you're done. Let's take a quick look at what our sales page looks like. At the very top, click Sale. You can see that your short preview video is here with your logo and shop backdrop. You'll see my how to play video at the top, and then the remainder of my description, followed by the contents, any accolades, and your action shots. You can click Edit to go back to the crowd sale page. Once you're done setting up your description, let's move on to Game 1. You'll notice that there's Game 1, 2, and 3. Game 1 is going to be the main game you're crowd selling. In this case, it's From the Deep. And this is where you'll set up your designer payout, which is a profit you make per copy sold, and the initial discount, which is the discount from your MSRP to what you want your sales price to be. For example, if I want to make $5 per copy, and I want my initial discount to be $5, you'll now see that my starting sales price is $19.99. That is a 20% discount. Your initial discount cannot be more than $5, so keep that in mind. The lower your designer payout, the more of a discount your backers will get on your project. The higher the payout, the less of a discount they'll get. Having a nice high initial discount will help bring in backers quicker. Let's move on to Game 2. Game 2 can be an add-on for your game, maybe a deluxe version or an expansion. It can also be another one of your games. For this, I'm going to select Armor Up. Since Armor Up is already an inexpensive game, I'm going to set my initial discount to $3 and my payout to $3. This will also give this game a nice little discount. And there's options to add on another game, add-on, or expansion below that. Let's go ahead and move on to timing. The timing for your crowd sale is critical. You want to make sure that 1, you give yourself enough time to make any changes to your crowd sale should it get denied when you apply. This means you want to give yourself at least a week because the sale is going to be manually reviewed by the support staff. It's also important to give yourself enough time to advertise your sale, whether it's building an audience, to letting people know that it's there and when it's going to launch, so people can be prepared to back it. I also recommend not running your sale for more than maybe 2 weeks. A faster sale can retain more backers, but it also gives more of an urgency to backers to back right away instead of waiting. I'm going to set mine to August 10 and August 24. I've set both my dates to Thursdays. This is so when the sale launches and ends, there's a whole business day for anybody to get support that they might need. Ending my sale on a Friday means that people can't get support until Monday. Also keep in mind that your launch date is in universal time. So if you want a specific launch time, make sure you adjust that to your time zone. Once you're done, click Update Crowd Sale Timing. Lastly, we have an area for some analytics if you have a GOAT counter code. Once your crowd sale is all set up, you've got your 2 videos, your ad, and all the other requirements. Scroll down and click Apply to run this sale. You get an email that looks like this, which will let you know that support's going to get back to you within about 2 business days. This is when customer service is going to review your game. There's a couple common pitfalls designers fall into, and this is what they're going to be looking for. First, it's your logo, to make sure that it has a transparent background. Next, it's going to make sure that your crowd sale is appealing, which is usually not a problem since you've passed community verification. They're also going to check to make sure that your video is easy to follow, not too long, and that it's about your game. They're going to make sure your game has no copyright issues, and also making sure that your game is safe for work, your artwork has full bleed, is drift safe, and has no printing issues that they could see. Customer service will email you if they find any issues, and give you time to correct those. When your crowd sale's been approved, you'll get an email that looks like this that includes your launch time. This should be shortly followed by an email that looks like this. That tells you things about making sure your title is published prior to the start of your sale and gives you tips about social media and posting updates. Now that your crowd sale's been approved, like the email says, about 2 days before your crowd sale launches, if not already, your game needs to be published. This is because the system does a couple pre-checks, and if your game is not published, your crowd sale will not launch. Lastly, you want to make sure that you promote your crowd sale before it launches. Let's click Sale. Up here is your personalized crowd sale link. You can share that anywhere you need to. People can click this Remind Me button. They'll be emailed when your sale starts, as well as before it ends. When your sale starts, there'll also be an Update button where you can post updates to anybody who's backing your project. You can also scroll down your page to see the possible discounts depending on how many people back your project. Congratulations! You've now created your crowd sale. Good luck, and thanks for watching.